From Los Angeles to a worldwide audience, this is Boaz Power TV, where we take your life to the next level. Now, internationally known speaker and author, here's Boaz.
Hi, welcome to the Power Show. You are part of the Power Nation, and I'm so glad you're here. Because here we teach you how to improve your relationships, your attitude, your finances, and your careers. We take your life to the next level. One of the things I teach audiences all over the world in my seminars is to create a sign like the one above my shoulder, the yellow one. Every day I play like a champion. Post that at home where your kids can touch it, where you can touch it. If you own a company or a business, post it all over your business and have people touch it. Every day I play like a champion on bright yellow paper, greatest contrast in advertising, and every day just have people high five the sign. Amazing what it does for people's attitude. This is episode number 204 of Boaz Power TV, and this is called Glory, Glory, Hallelujah. After conducting numerous seminars throughout North America during a certain period of time, a couple of years ago, I found myself in Red Lodge, Montana for a few days off. I was visiting my daughter Rena and her husband George. They were running the Pollard Hotel at the time over there. Situated among Montana's highest mountain peaks, Red Lodge is in the southwestern part of the state, not far from Wyoming's Yellowstone Park, and at the foot of the Rockies. This town, 3,000 residents, was originally built on coal mining. Today, tourism, with many heading for the Red Lodge mountain ski area, and ranching have taken over. George, my son-in-law, the general manager at the time of the historic Pollard Hotel in Red Lodge, and Rena managed the restaurant. I was staying at the Pollard during my visit. If I were to turn the clock back 108 years from the time I was there in 2005, I would have witnessed the Sundance Kid robbing the Red Lodge Bank across the street. I know! Amazing. Checking the hotel's guest register, I would have seen the names of Buffalo Bill Cody, William Jennings Bryan, and Calamity Jane. George and Rena, since they took over the running of the Pollard at that time, had done a great job of reestablishing some high standards of hospitality to that stately 39-room hotel. There were a lot of friendly faces in Red Lodge when I was there in an effort to introduce me to some of the nice folks that made them feel so welcome. George and Rena treated me to a number of dinners with local dignitaries. On one particular stands out, and I wanted to share her interesting story with you. The lady that George and Rena introduced me to was Glory Mahan. She was 71 years young back in 2005. And her spirit was quickly evident as she, George, Rena, and I sat down to a wonderful steak dinner in the dining room of the Pollard Hotel. As it turned out, there were some valuable life lessons to be learned from Glory and her attitude toward life. She was born July 18th, 1934, in Alhambra, California. There was an older sister around at the time. Glory's father was a musician by choice, and she said a darn good one. Her mother sang with his band, and they performed throughout Southern California and in Las Vegas. To earn a living, her dad was a charismatic salesman who, according to Glory, could sell ice boxes to Eskimos. Glory's mother and father divorced around 1946, and then her mother moved with her two daughters to various places, eventually settling in Red Lodge, Montana. She said she was always looking for adventure fueled by alcoholism, relates Glory, and that's why we came to Red Lodge. Glory liked cowboys and horses, and thus thought that Red Lodge was a marvelous place. Since she was from California, she was considered an outsider. Glory eventually became accepted because she could outride many of the other kids, and she was down to earth. Her mother's alcoholism and many boyfriends, coupled with very little food, and Glory caring for a younger brother, made life quite difficult in her early years. In explaining why she grew up to be such a confident person, Glory says, and I quote, "I never wanted to admit defeat. Even though life was tough at home, I appreciated the good things that the people of Red Lodge did for me. When in high school, the principal made things difficult for Glory. He said that she was a waste of taxpayers' money and the teacher's time. Can you imagine anybody labeling somebody that way? Thus, she quit school at the age of 15. Glory's mother had left home, and Glory was now living on her own, working at the busy Bee Cafe in Red Lodge. She recalls living on a loaf of bread and some Velveeta cheese for a week. Out of a need to support herself, Glory moved to Pasadena, California, where her father lived. There she worked as a waitress in a metal plating factory and for a while acted in B movies. That was fun, but paid very little. Needing to get a real job, she applied to the Southern California Edison Company. I passed the application test, she said, with such high marks that despite the fact that I didn't have a high school degree, they hired me to work in the newly formed accounts receivable department, says Glory. 6 months after being hired, she said, I was made lead person in that department. Her career at Edison would span 37 years. She eventually would report to a vice president in the research and development department. Later, in the educational services department, she was trained to teach physical science to local elementary school children. I was always eager to take on new challenges with a good spirit, and Edison management recognized my determination, stated Glory. During those years, Glory married Dan Mahan, an advertising executive. They had 2 sons who remained her pride and joy. Along the way, Glory had a bout with cancer. With her usual spirit, she impressed her oncologist by breezing through chemotherapy while she continued to work. She believes that her positive, upbeat attitude kept her from getting sick. In later years, there was a divorce, and Glory retired from Edison in 1992. Having always thought that Red Lodge was home, she returned to Montana that year. Since she always had an affection for the community, she became very involved and was eventually elected to the city council. She is now in her 5th 2-year term on the Red Lodge City Council. Then in 2005, at the age of 71, Glory was going strong. She felt that being of value to others is an important attribute to a good life. She could easily have been elected as the Goodwill Ambassador for Red Lodge, Montana. You know, I met some pretty amazing people in my years of traveling and speaking. Glory is one of the best. If you're ever in the neighborhood of Red Lodge, I suggest you look her up. She'll quickly show you that attitude is a decision, and with a positive outlook, one can forever remain young at heart. Glory, glory, hallelujah. So here's the affirmation for this episode of Boaz Power TV. It is an attitude affirmation. You may want to write it down. I'm young at heart due to my positive attitude. I am young at heart due to my positive attitude. I get younger every year. I get younger every year. Well, I believe you are very young at heart. And if you like these messages, as many people do around the world, and find them beneficial, please do me a favor and pass this on to 5 people you know. Suggest they go to my website and they can sign up for the free weekly Boaz Power TV broadcast. You are special, you are unique, you are destined for greatness, and I believe you have a great attitude. I see it in you. You are a champion. Have a powerful day.
This has been Boaz Power TV. To comment, see other episodes, or to subscribe to this free broadcast, go to our blog at boazpower.com. That's boazpower.com. We're here to take your life to the next level.